Well, the first thing I did to get the Nano Talon ready to fly again was check its firmware version. I had upgraded it to 4.3.7 Beta 1 a month or so ago. There was a bulletin came out about a problem with the RC losing connection and fail-safing. If it came back in range, it would not reconnect. I'll show you that on the computer here in a second. So that's the only thing I really have to do on this one, is make sure my firmware is ready to go. And it's ready to fly again when I choose next. So it was very simple to get this back off the shelf and get going in this again. And I hate it. Same day all this remote ID junk stirred up. I'd been speaking about it the past couple of 3 weeks after I got this device 3 or 4 weeks ago. And towards getting this ready, I just went ahead and did what I said and plugged it in. 5-second job. My telemetry radio still works. Drone tag works. And it's functioning. I'll show you a screen on my cell phone where it's sending all the information it's supposed to send right now. I mean, it's really not even required till September. My first few flights trying out the lithium-ion battery and this coming out of tuning are going to be line of sight, basically. If I flew out of visual line of sight, I wouldn't tell you or post it. So technically, it doesn't even need to be on here. But if I happen to lose control of it, or if it was past September, and it flew off a little ways, and somebody saw it and looked at it with their cell phone, they would find the information they're supposed to find. And let's say it then recovered itself and flew back to home after a control link failsafe, let's say. It did get away from me. That's still a fine with the FAA, whether or not it comes back or not. Loss of control still is a fine if they want to push it. Basically, the thing here is don't push them people into doing something you don't want to do. Try to stay in the background and quiet. Good Lord, this isn't that complicated, people. So I'll show you what the DSB did as much as I can show you, and we're ready to range test it a little bit. You know, like I say, it isn't going to hurt a thing being in this module bay down here. Put my telemetry radio back in the side like it's supposed to be. It's really a simple thing. It slides into a slot and it pretty much holds it. Oops, come on. He says, and then can't do it. There we go. There it is, ready to go again. As far as this whole model is, I've still got the USB plugged in down here. It's ready to close up that hatch and fly. Let me show you on the screen a couple of things I was talking about. So here's Mission Planner connected to that platform. I did not have to do anything in Drone ID here. Wow. Not yet started. Still sending out information. Wow. Not sure what to do here. Nobody's told me, so anyway, I'll show you on my phone how Drone Tag is tracking it right now, which I think is compliant. This is Arduplane 4.3.7 Beta 1. Now the reason it's Beta 1, and I think I'm going to go with the straight up 437. And the reason for that is this has to do with the copter. I got an email about a problem with 437. that we wanted to use 437 beta 1 instead of 437 itself. And again, it was for the airplane also, but I can't find that information real quick right here. And basically what this says right here is 437 beta 1 has been released because of a big bug in 436 or 437 that firmware that didn't stay out long. And what that big bug was is RC input. The RC might not be regained if lost. And this is what I was telling you about here. The most serious issue in the last item is the last item. We have found that in some very rare cases, if the RC signal is lost, RC failsafe, but later restored, Autopilot is unable to read the signals from the receiver and thus does not recover from the RC failsafe. To me, that would just bring it home to circle your home point or your nearest rally point, but then you don't have the ability. I wonder if you could go into the ground control. Well, if you've got telemetry, back to telemetry again, guys. If you've got telemetry, you can go into the ground station and give it a command from there to land. Going to be your best bet if you can't control it with the radio in your hand, because it won't recover from that failsafe and give you control back. This can affect any board with an I/O MCU, which includes most higher end boards like the Cube Orange and many others. I don't know. I have any board with I/O MCU, I bet, because there's questions about this. This really scares me. Therefore, that's why I have 437 beta 1. But I really think that's what they called them before release, and the date of this is May 25th. Now if we go into Ardu Planes release notes, you can see current release for beta 2 is 440. Here's 437 on the 31st of May. And see, that kind of says to me that 437 instead of 437 beta 1 is what I should have on there. And this again talks about that particular bug. And talks about the Copter 436 release because of the RC input bug fix. This release skips the 436 number to sync with Copter. Little confusion there, and also the fact that this 437 May 31st release, which again, that's probably what I'm going to go ahead and flash on that. Then it'll be ready totally to go back to flying. Down here's release 440 beta 1, and then below this, got a lot of changes in that beta. 435 on the 26th of March, which was the previous. So anything above this is newer, but I hate that they go 440 beta 1, 437. They stepped back here in their sorting of this on it, and then everything above this is the 440 beta 2. Let's see what all. You could go through all of this and try to make an educated guess on if any of it would cause you problems. It looks to me like I could go for 440 beta 2 right now and be well past the 436 bug. I think I'll flash 437 onto it. Boy, always something with this stuff, isn't there? So that is the end of everything I need to say about getting the Nano Talon EVO back to its test flights. It's tuned and everything. Tuned twice. I want to be for sure. So real quick here, we'll look at my cell phone and the drone tag. I hate that this all meshed at the same time. Somebody else in the world had to put a little wrinkle in the fabric about remote ID. But this was on my desk to be spoken about, had been spoken about, and this is the time to speak about it. And this is the time to go out and see if it has terrible range. Just, boy, sometimes the fates just collide with each other rather than overlap. So here's the drone tag app that comes with that remote ID chip over there. I guess I should have showed you how I opened it. Just got a little icon right here. It says drone tag. Touch it. It is working, but it's still complaining that I don't have an aircraft set up, though I had one set up. Wished I'd have recorded everything that happened when I first came into this, because I had to link it to that drone tag. Let's see here. A few steps left to complete your account. Your email is not verified. You do not have any default aircraft. Create your first aircraft. I thought I had done that. Add aircraft. It's a custom aircraft. Custom weight of 887 grams when I weighed it. Aircraft, UAS class. Used. Custom. Unknown means the product doesn't have a known class. None means the product doesn't have any class defined. I'm going to leave it at unknown. I don't know what the endurance is on this. It's been 15 minutes in the past with small 1800 milliamp hour LiPo batteries, but it's going out the next time with a $5,000 milliamp hour lithium ion. I hope to get an hour out of it. Aircraft name. My plane. Done. Well, don't know where to click. Got it labeled. Use custom aircraft. Use custom weight. Unknown aircraft endurance. You click this little create at the top or what? Saving changes. Good. My plane is there. Wonder if it's set as the default. Nah, it doesn't really act like it. We'll go back again. Your email is not verified. Default flight visibility public, preferences, push notification, help and manuals, log out. My flights, don't have any flights. My devices, there's my drone tag DRI ID, some of it, I'm not going to show you all of it, and somewhat its status. My devices, if I go into that, battery is currently unknown, LTE is unknown, Bluetooth, good signal strength so far, GNSS, no signal, 0 satellites. Shows where it is on the front map. Let's see, on the firmware version. Firmware update, checking for updates. Oops, current version is 130. Immediate update required, man. Looks like there's a 203 version, but 200 has to be installed first, so we'll just download and update. Show what's new. Battery charge is too low. Well, what are you talking about? It's 91%. Form update. Updating firmware. Guess this is in the phone. Wouldn't think it would be in the device in the airplane, but it could be. Could be updating via Bluetooth. Express LRS updates via Wi-Fi. There's other things I've seen in the past have Bluetooth updates, so I'll just let it do its thing and assume it knows what it's doing. Now, I have not set it up inside the airplane in Mission Planner. Mission Planner has a space for it. That might be what gets it sending back better GPS data. Shows the correct place on the map out front. It was way over in Asia. So I think it is working. In my humble opinion, whatever's going on, it is compliant. It's a pain in the ass, totally useless in my humble opinion, until they let us fly beyond visual line of sight. I don't think it's needed for drone racing. I don't think any RFID or ADSB or anything's needed for drone racing. FAA walks up to me at a drone race, which we have a local one here. I'm going to say, well, sir, where do you think all these crafts are flying, GPS location-wise? And I can tell you where their operators are. You see that little stand right over there? All 5 of them are sitting right there. What else do you need to know? And do you really need, tell me which one you're talking about on the track, the blue one or the red one? Dumb butts. The device firmware has been updated successfully. You can now continue to use your device normally. If it's turned off, you may need to turn it on again. Newer version is still available. Continue with an update to 203. Let's continue. Download and update. I'm just going to let this run while I rant. I don't see why if somebody was using a 550 flame wheel and doing freestyle with it, which I have done, flips and rolls, long before freestyle was even a name. No more than just rolls and flips. Some of them are even the one that comes with Ardu Pilot on a switch. Why that person or persons would be standing far enough away not to be able to see the platform, then why in the hell are you doing the freestyle? I love precision maneuvers with RC airplanes, lazy 8s, Cuban 8s, Chandelle turns, hammerhead turns, whip stalls, all that kind of stuff. What would be the sense of doing those if you're not within visual line of sight so you and the other spectators around can watch how precisely you do them? What the hell are these people thinking? Anything smaller than a 5-inch? Why would you even need remote ID on it? They're not going to fly it out of visual line of sight where it might even be detected by others to need to be tracked. I mean, this has just gotten absolutely crazy. I've been saying some of this in writings, but haven't said it on a video. I'll just fill in time here with that. Airplanes have historically had tracking devices on them. Transponders 50 years ago, where we squawked a code that the control tower told us. We were coming in for a landing. The control tower would come back and tell you, Cessna November 37, squawk code 27, please. You'd reach down, put 27 into your transponder on your console and push the squawk button. Now, those could be continuous. They normally weren't run continuous. They were run when the air controllers told you to squawk a certain code so your icon on their radar would light up and they could identify you. After that, they pretty much got you. They know where you're going to be, where you're going, etc., etc. ADSB came along a few years ago. It's been out for commercial aircraft for quite a bit at a time. The radar paints just got to be so cluttered up with so many flights and stuff that was becoming a problem. So they don't know. Well, my only choice here is to dismiss this. I hope it doesn't dismiss the 203 upgrade. But that is what I'm going to. Well, it says firmware version 130 right there. Damn. Current version here is 203. Oh, you lovely, lovely application. I guess I'll shut it down and start it up again while I talk. ADSB came along because the radars were just getting overrun. There was a secondary system which could operate independently of radar. Actually could just basically by telling each aircraft telling each other, hey, I'm near you. It kind of made radar kind of a thing of the past. Only recently, I could look it up right now if I was professional and did scripts, did the FAA require it of light aircraft. And my understanding is it's getting overloaded, and a large percentage of light aircraft aren't installing it. Probably they're bitching about, well, you know, it's getting overloaded anyway. People bitch about things that don't even really bite them. Now the firmware version is 2.03. We'll hide the rest of that configuration. Enable Mavlink. Boy, you can see how I'm going to have to go through a lot of stuff on this that I've never been through, and I've only got 2 months to do it. Firmware is good. Assisted global. Checking status. An error occurred. Incompatible location provider is detected. Error is selected. Okay. Go back. Oh, well, I'll have to go back into that later. Ooh, Bluetooth down there at the top is jumping between excellent and good, and I'm 10 feet away from the remote ID module. It still says no GNSS. Don't want to rename it, root account. So I don't think it's fully set up on the mission planner. Still have to verify my email account. But it is showing here exactly what it's supposed to be showing. It is showing activity. So it's a rough startup. That's about all I'm going to do with it today, because I'll have to dig in and figure out how to set it up in Mission Planner. I'll go back and show you a little bit on Mission Planner, but that's all I'm going to do on the phone for now. I'm not going to spend much time finishing up this video because I'm not having a lot of information jump out at me. This is really my first day working with all this stuff, and I need to do a little research myself. I've got 2 months to do it. The remote ID is not what I'm looking for here. I'm just trying to get that airplane back in the air and continue where I left off before I took my little sabbatical for a couple of months. I'll just tell you straight up, my health was just so bad. I was hurting so bad I thought I was making a lot of mistakes in my videos. My God, look at that. Board voltage is 4,000 volts. God, I love Ardu sometimes. Board voltage. It'll stay because there's nothing replaced it. Anyway, we're starting to pick up satellites again. I did go ahead and upgrade the firmware to straight up 4.3.7. I think that gets around that lost failsafe RC input problem. And I've sort of given up on doing any more with the drone ID here. I don't think this is associated with the GPS that's in the platform. I think this is if you have a ground control station GPS connected to the ground control station computer that Mission Planner is running on. I'm going to have to look all this up. It says remote ID is loading, but I don't know that it can fully. And we got sort of a status down here. But the UAS ID, I don't think I have that yet. The UAS type and UAS ID type and the UA type. I could say that's an airplane. That's pretty good. Kite. It's a kite. It's a kite with a remote ID on it. They have trash can in here. It's a ground obstacle. It's other. So I'm going to have to dig some more for these. For what you do in here to get this running perfectly. But again, not the point of what I'm doing tonight. The point of what I'm doing tonight is complete. It was simply to get the Nano Talon ready to continue where it left off a couple of months back. I can set that aside, ready to fly. After I do my 4th of July thing, I should be in good shape. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. So I'm going to close down this video, and we'll approach that drone ID junk and remote ID after this dust up of the last 24 hours over remote ID calms down, and I'm just back to doing how-to videos. Don't care if you made negative comments to me over all that stuff in the last few hours. I stand ready to help you in any way I can. If you want, just send me questions and I will do my very best, as I always have. Have a good one. Thank you guys so much.